What sectors? No, I can talk about stocks. We actually added yesterday some McDonald's. We added a little bit to Cisco.
Oh,
And I'm
something
not
is
talking
going
about.
on.
Okay. Sorry, that was me. Um, yeah. So, welcome again, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Yeah, everyone. It's good to see all your faces. I'm going to introduce myself. As you all know, the podcast is being recorded. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Odiva, and I'm the English teacher of all of you. Some of you that I've been working with for years, for example, Francesco in Italy, and one person who's very new, which is Gabriele, who is also in Italy, and agreed to join us today for our discussion. I think we've had just one lesson together, so it's quite new for him. The rest of you were here yesterday. We have the dream team, Uri and Ufra, and from Israel, and we have Yoon Hee, who is in New York, and she's from South Korea, and we have Toyo, who is in Virginia or near Washington D.C., and he's from Tokyo, Japan. So welcome back, everyone. I got all the official names of this virus. Last time I was listening to the previous podcast I did yesterday, and I said, oh no, I made a mistake. So the official names is COVID-19, coronavirus, and SARS-CoV-2, which stands for severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2. And I was hoping I would have someone here from Russia, because I do have a number of Russian students, but as most of them are in IT industries, they're quite busy right now. So if you listen to some of my previous podcasts, you can hear perspective from some of my contacts in Russia, India, Egypt, and Spain as well. So today I want to get started with some vocabulary, some of the new English vocabulary that you guys have had opportunity to learn from this experience, this pandemic, for example. Please share some new vocabulary with me.
Okay.
I did homework.
You did homework.
The Jerusalem Post it's in easy English, and it's in lots of articles that talking about the corona. And some of the words, the new that I'm using is testing kits.
Testing kits, yes. Medical testing kits, good.
Ventilators.
Ventilators, yes. Breathing, to help people to breathe. Those are very important machines.
Yes. Now, General Electric, I think, or Ford, manufacturing these machines.
I certainly hope so, because I've heard that we just don't have enough here in the U.S.
Yes, President Trump forced them to manufacture. Yes.
Okay.
These are important for intensive care.
For intensive care patients, yeah. All right, so come on. Anyone else wants to give me some vocabulary? Quarantine, yes.
Quarantine. Epidemic and pandemic. I don't know exactly the difference between.
Okay, and I'll explain that right now.
I think one of them is local.
That's right.
National, but I don't know.
You said it exactly right. One is local, situation, and another is international or global, around the world. So that's quite a unique situation that we're facing here.
Hello.
Zoltan is able to join us from Hungary. Francesco, give us some vocabulary that you've learned regarding this situation, this pandemic.
Actually, I learned intensive therapy or
Oh,
intensive care. It is a very similar word, and Gabriele will agree with me. That are very similar words to the Italian ones to say the same thing.
okay, yeah, and I know
Intensive
that
therapy.
medical
Um,
words and legal words, English and Italian do have like a lot of similar words. Go on.
yes. Also, at the moment, I don't remember the words that we introduced yesterday that you wrote in the chat.
Okay.
I learned those words that at the moment I'm not remembering.
Okay, I will go through some of those right now. Let me just open up the
Um,
chat again. Of course, when we close this
ah, xenophobia.
xenophobia,
Xenophobia.
xenophobia, and it actually begins with an S. I'll put that in there right now in the chat. You guys can copy it, or you can just ask me later during the lesson, because it will be cleared out when we close the chat room. Xenophobia, official meaning, is a dislike or prejudice against people from other countries. So, and that is something that we're seeing a lot of in South Asia and Asian regions. Asians afraid of Europeans, Europeans afraid of Asians, people afraid of Chinese people. So instead of what I'm hoping for, people coming together, they're kind of turning on each other and believing that it's coming from a certain group of people. So that's a serious issue. The other two words that I will put in the chat is suffocation and asphyxiation, which means both mean that you can't breathe or you have been deprived, or oxygen is not getting into your body, which can result in death. So those are serious words, and that is why I say to people, if they think, hey, I'm strong, I don't care if I get the virus. Yes, there are some people that don't have any symptoms, and there are a lot of people that have severe symptoms, and these people can die from two things: the asphyxiation, which means they can't breathe, and also organ death. The organs of the body, such as the kidneys, can be attacked by this virus, and until they're no longer functioning. So
Also,
yes,
lungs. That is the first
lungs.
organ that is attacked
That's
by
right.
coronavirus.
That's right. It gets into the lungs and it multiplies itself. So, so the other name is a carrier. So these people, they don't have symptoms, asymptomatic. So the word that you guys used to know, or maybe didn't know, was symptoms, and now you have to learn this new word, which is asymptomatic. Nothing is showing, no cough, no trouble breathing, but there is a possibility that this person is carrying the disease and passing it on. There's some medical people saying, well, they're not sure how, if these people are passing it on, but I don't know about that.
Yes, Tiva, in Israel, there is an argue between the Minister of Health, between themselves, all the professors and the doctors. There is an argue,
Argument.
some yes, some argument some say that some of them argue that people with asymptomatic can can't
Pass
infect
on. Okay.
can
Or
pass
infect.
on the virus
Okay.
because he is not coughing or he is not ill. But others say that even if you are asymptomatic, you can deliver the virus. You can infect other people. There is a big argument in
Yeah,
U.S.
I could imagine, because that's news to me, because when I look at how quickly the virus spreads, you know, that's just my opinion, that that's an argument for that it was being spread by people who didn't know they had it. There's also now new information that there are some people that don't show symptoms within 14 days. Someone showed symptoms within 19 days. So it's really, really a complicated virus that we're dealing with. And one last word I'll put in here is pre-existing condition. And so, who can tell me what pre-existing condition means?
A pre-existing disease that you have that complicates some way the effects of the virus. For
Yeah,
example, if you have pre-existing problems
An
at lung,
history, yes?
not
if you
no,
have a
not
problem
in your
at lung,
history. It could be something that you've been born with, or probably an illness that you got in your older years. They do mention diabetes. They mention heart disease, or any kind, also cancer. Um, yeah, so these are things that people are already, their body's already fighting off these diseases and these organisms, and now they have to deal with this
And
very strong
and
virus.
yes, and therefore it's easy for the virus to attack you and to kill you. It's easier for the
It's
virus.
easier, that's what it means, yeah.
Yes.
And of course, old age is something that
Yeah,
weakens
because your immune system is weak.
immune system. Yes, just writing that here. And how about voluntary? What does that mean?
Voluntary.
someone who work without being paid.
Yeah. And
In Italy, we have a lot of these people.
okay, so volunteers or voluntary is work is what they are looking for to help fight this disease, because we don't have enough medical people. I hear that Cuba has offered to send some medical professionals, and I also hear that this is something that they have done several times in the past, sending medical professionals to countries in need. Of course, there is a debate about it, because the country in need does make a payment to Cuba, so there's a debate whether this is ethical or not. Social distancing. Yunhee, this is like a big key word that's going around everywhere. Tell me what social distancing is.
Just to keep a distance with people,
Yeah,
with others.
yeah. So my students keep telling in Europe kept telling me that the distance that is agreed upon is 2 meters.
2 meters in Israel, yes, also.
Okay, and so I had to look that up because I don't know meters that well. It's 6 feet. It's 6 feet.
In Italy, it's 1 meter.
Oh,
1 meter?
Yeah,
Oh,
1 meter. Yeah, right.
okay. Zoltan, do you know what it is in Hungary? Go ahead one more time, because your mic was off.
Don't know.
Yes, I hear you now. What is the distance?
Meters.
2? Okay, 2 meters. All right. And so I've heard, and you'll hear that in a previous podcast, from someone in India, that they are marking surfaces. So if you go to the supermarket and you get in the queue, a queue is a line, one person behind the other, there is some marker to show you the distance so that everyone.
Yeah, in Italy too. Or
Also in
Latin.
Israel.
This
Also in Israel.
sounds
Yeah.
in Israel too. This sounds
They
like a
mark,
really
Yeah.
difficult
they
thing to
mark,
do.
they mark the line. Yes.
Okay.
2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters. So
In
people
Italy,
can
1 meters, 1 meters, 1 meters.
1 meter.
1 meter. Yeah. It sounds like a difficult thing to do, but it's necessary because, as he explained, in countries like India, social distancing is, is quite difficult, especially in regions like New Delhi, which is highly populated areas. Okay. Oh, and one other vocabulary word that I want to add into the discussion. I just looked this up because I was trying to find out what is this called? A biocontainment suit. And these are the people, it looks like a spaceship, like suit, a spacesuit. You're going to the moon or something. And these are the people that are really on the front line fighting this disease, and they have everything covered. They even have 3 gloves. So when they take one glove off, they've still got another glove to protect them. So when someone comes up and says, look, just make a mask at home and you'll be safe. And then I'm looking at the professionals and they are wearing this kind of space suit. I'm wondering, okay, what's going on here? There's something you're not telling me. That's just my thoughts. So going into that, let's look at some things that are being told to us. Myths and facts. Myths, which is something that has been told around and people start to believe it. And facts are what come from science and scientists. Yeah, research. And of course, the problem with this virus is it's so new. There isn't a lot of research. And as you said, even the scientists are debating. No one actually wants to test the theory that, hey, you stand this far away from someone and you can get it. No one wants to be the one to test that.
The problem are the fake news.
Fake news. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me some myths that you've heard about.
For example, if you eat onions, you are free from virus.
Or garlic also.
Or garlic, or candeggina, and in English candeggina.
Maybe pizza, maybe Italian pizza is good.
That's a good way to stimulate the economy. For you to eat Italian pizza.
But there are a lot of these fake news.
Okay, fake news or myths, yeah. One of them that I've heard was mosquitoes, and of course, this is not something that is carried in the blood, so that's a myth. Another one I've heard, and I've heard someone, a contact of mine, that strongly believed that there was bat soup going around in China, and that was the cause of it. And scientists have told us that that's a myth. Any others?
Yes, yes. There is a theory that maybe it's fake news, yes, but it's a theory that says that the Chinese invented this virus in order to infect the American people, in order to get the stock market in the US to get it down, and then the Chinese can buy stocks in the US with in discount. Now the stock market is in discount.
The Chinese one said
This
one strong
is,
world.
but this is fake news, I think. I hope this is
Yeah,
fake
yeah.
news.
Well, I've already heard that it came from the U.S. I've already heard um, from the U.S. military. The Chinese have been saying. I've heard people say it was invented in Canada. So there's a lot of that going around. Who is to blame?
Yeah.
And that's wasting time. Really, we need to fight this virus now rather
Another
than.
another one is that the virus resists under your shoes up to 9 or 10 hours. So you have to leave your shoes when you return home outside the door in order to not enter the virus into your house, into your home.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
But this born by the fact that the virus survives on surfaces for a certain time, but it's not true that it resists on the street, on the road. So when you walk on the street, you get the virus. This is not right.
But this one of the things the CDC, and that's who I really tried to listen to, has said is that they found the virus up to a period of up to 17 days after everyone was evacuated from the cruise ship. 17 days later, and I'll put that, I have to put that link into the forum. The virus was still alive on surfaces, even in rooms of people who didn't have symptoms. So this is a badass virus.
It depends of the time.
Gener- ge- Generally, they take sanitation actions when in order to clean locals and rooms or also streets.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Talia,
that's why.
yes, go ahead.
That's why, yeah, I always I got a spray that kills bacteria. So whenever I go outside, I always when come back home, I always sprayed my shoes and I even wash my clothes.
Okay, all right, taking
You have
preventative
the
measures.
alcohol gel. You have the alcohol gel. Do you have the alcohol
That's
gel?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, besides
Besides
washing
the
your
alcohol
hands
gel.
and using sanitizer.
Yeah, yeah. And that's interesting because of course it's not a bacteria, but you have to do whatever you can. What about in Japan, Toyo? Tell me some of the myths that might be going around.
Yeah, actually, I found a news article that discusses about BCG vaccination. Have you ever heard of it? BCG vaccination. That is a vaccination for tuberculosis.
Oh, vaccination. So that's
Vaccination.
when you get like a vaccine. Okay, I think that's the
Yeah,
same in every
so,
language.
so all Japanese need to take that vaccination, BCG vaccination. So this article said that is why the number of the people infected is very low in Japan. Even if they're using busy train every day and they go to office every day.
Um,
And
Well, how
yeah.
do you know? Because the government don't test it
If
enough
that's
yet.
that's the point. How much testing is going on in Japan right now?
yeah, of course, I'm not insisting that. I'm just,
Okay, you're just
I
sharing
don't
us information. Yeah.
think we did it,
Yeah.
but that may explain something. I don't know, but some
And
countries, United States, they don't take that vaccination.
well,
That's why people are dying so quickly.
actually I think we
I think,
do. I can't remember. I'll have to
like, yeah,
answer
So
your
we are
mom.
talking about myth, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're still talking about myths.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Yes, it's not it's not confirmed
Yes.
at all.
All right, let's turn the topic to the economics of this
Mm,
situation.
good.
Yeah, okay.
Not
I have
good.
some economic
Not
experts
good.
in here. I'll turn it over to you. Tell me what you know.
Economy?
Economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the gas station yesterday for filling my car, and somebody asked me for money because they don't have work to do. That's why they need gasoline. They need money to buy gasoline, and that never happened to me because they actually there are a lot of you know soliciting people like beggars. I saw them, but they look very decent. They had a car, they had kids, but actually they didn't have money to buy fuel.
Okay, so someone was
Never happened to me, so that's
begging you
worrying.
for money. That was an unusual situation, and yes, that could increase over the past few weeks, in the next few weeks. I'm gonna turn it to Zoltan because we haven't heard from you yet. Tell us a little bit about the economic impact of this coronavirus.
The number of unemployed people grows very fast.
Yeah.
Unemployed people very fast. The price of stock
Has dropped, yeah.
and we have another issue. Visa. So
Something's happening with your mic. Just say that again, because it's cutting out, unfortunately.
so euro money. And the price of euro goes up.
The
Our
euro,
economic has a
the price of the euro is going up.
economic is in a condition.
The economy is in bad condition.
Have a factory. So the factories are closed.
Factories are closed. Now, I'm only getting bits and pieces of what you're saying. If you don't mind, could you add some of that into the chat room? Because I think you're using your mobile today. No, you're on the computer? Okay, I've never had this problem before, but your voice is getting cut off. Something about the euros. Can anyone tell me more about the euro?
I don't know really about euro. I don't know I know that the price of oil, the on oil, has dropped significantly in this period. So started from $100 to bear to $20, right? $20 in this period. So I on the economic part, I'm not so good.
Okay.
I can say something. I'm working in the biggest bank in Israel. I'm a bank manager. Okay, so what we see is the first of all, the first firms or companies that hurt is the firms that the tourist companies and the car companies,
Tourist
rent car
industry and
companies,
automobile
yes,
industry.
the hotels, all the hotels are closed. So this is they are the most infected by this economy. Affected, yes, yes. And in Israel there is a new 1 million unemployed people. New 1 million new unemployed people.
Okay.
Some of them are in vacation, but they are someone forced them to go to vacation.
The population of Israel is almost 9 million.
9
so
million?
You want to put the big numbers,
Yes.
but the government is trying to build a plan for
helping the
for
companies
the
independence.
independence and for employers.
Yes.
Financial assistance.
Yes. In the U.S.
Yeah.
New York, yeah,
So-
New York.
And
I
for
think a
the
lot of, yeah.
people and for the students, the government must have a plan because it's going to be the post-corona. It's going to be a disaster, an economic disaster.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
I
so
think
what
a
you
lot
just
of the companies won't be able to recover. Yes, we have to think about the future, about the next year, about what will happen 12 months from now. Okay, the virus will vanish, will go, will disappear. I hope so. Someone will find the antivirus, but in order to recover the economy won't be recovered like the virus.
easily.
Like
Yeah.
yes, easily.
Okay,
The
so
economy,
let me just interrupt and let Zoltan in on what we just discussed. Uri has announced to us that he is working for one of the largest banking companies in Israel, and that there are now 1 million people who have recently become unemployed in a population of 9 million people. Okay, Zoltan, let's see if your mic is working. Is there any comments?
Yes.
Yes, good.
Does it work?
Yeah, it's working good.
I work for a too in Hungary, and it was one of the most important. The Hungarian government imposed a blanket moratorium on loan repayment until the end of the year, so you don't have to pay your loan.
Yes.
Okay.
In Israel,
Loan postponement.
they postponed the loans.
Yes.
Also in Israel for 3 months now.
In Israel for 3 months, in Hungary till the end of the year.
Until the end of the year.
Very nice.
Very good. But I can tell you something free. I can tell you something free. I will give you a tip. Okay. I think now it's a good time to buy stocks. It's good time. If you want to buy stocks now, for the long run, I tell you for the long run, not for the short run. If you buy stocks now, I think about 1 year or 2 years from now, you can double it. Yes? Because go to buy stocks of Boeing or Caribbeans or oil companies. The oil is very, very low now. Like you said, it's about $20 for one, how do you say this? $20 for one tank, I think, or one
Oh, a tank.
barrel.
A gallon, 1 gallon.
No, one barrel in oil.
Oh, barrel, a barrel.
Barrel,
Which is like
yes.
huge.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Thank
Alright.
you for the tip.
This is my tip. Yes, this is my tip.
Don't give us any insider trading tips. This is being recorded. Okay, Uni, tell us some info.
Info, I think I live in New York, so I think if you fill out the form, I think you can get $1,000.
And what is the criteria? Like, what do you have to? How do you have to
Your
qualify?
income is lower than $75,000. Yeah, let's check that out.
I'm going to New York now.
Yeah, you should be American citizen, right?
Oh, yeah, I just became,
Yeah. So
There
that's
is-
how to do
And
it.
in New York.
and New York, yes.
No, I'm not going to New York
So
for
if
that.
your income per year income is lower than $70,000, then you can get $1,000.
You can get $1,000 if your income is lower than $75,000.
70 or 75.
70,
Yes.
75.
Is
Okay,
it
that's
monthly?
interesting.
Is it monthly? You can get paid monthly or all at once?
when my income is a little bit higher than that, so so
Oh, yeah, me too.
So is
I'm
it
Yeah,
not
like,
qualified. But
uh,
yeah, I'll check that out and I'll let Odiba know.
okay? She doesn't know if
Yeah,
it's that
sorry.
qualification. So I'm the only poor person here. I'm the teacher. And oh, I also wanted to mention that Francesco is going to be graduating soon. What is your degree? It's a very long, complex, sophisticated master's degree. What is it called again, Francesco?
But the title of my thesis work
No,
or
your
the
degree.
faculty?
Your degree.
I will be graduated in computer engineering at the end of April. Of course, it will be a telematic celebration that we'll do online.
Mhm.
And I worked on my thesis about tropical cyclones, in particular the study of use of machine learning for detection and tracking of tropical cyclones. So I studied all the machine learning techniques that are currently used or that are studied in order to do this task, that is the detection of and tracking of tropical cyclones. That is a very important subject in the Atlantic Ocean or also in the Indian Ocean, because they are catastrophic events
Yes,
that
he's
do.
as you can see, very highly intelligent student. I'm very proud of his English level. We've been working on his English for 2 years now, and he's going to be. I can say very proudly that he's going to fly through the IELTS exam when he's ready to take it. Um, but
Congratulations.
he picks he picks the most difficult thing to study for science because he's doing not only computer engineering but computer engineering as it relates to the weather, which is completely unpredictable statistically. So good
I
luck.
mean, like your job is you feel more safe because I mean you feel more safer. I mean you feel safer because you can do work at home.
Yes, yeah, but for how long? How long? And also the economy, of course. English teaching is kind of a luxury. I should say English lessons are kind of a luxury thing that people do in addition to whatever their main priority is when they have free time. Yoon-hee.
I work at home. I also I can work at home, so
Yeah, yeah, but you're also very busy, and it's like a lot of people are the people that work at home are even more busy right now, especially in IT. So the luxury of English lesson, it's not
In
something
fact,
that they can do
in
right
fact,
now.
some friends told me, of course, they are working at home in smart working, and there is even more work to do because the boss says, since you are at home, so do this thing. Since you are at home, okay, do this other. So they work 10 hours, 12 hours every day instead of 8 hours um, for the time they stay at home in quarantine.
Yeah,
But
and the
you don't
meetings.
lose time in the traffic jams. Yes,
Yeah,
to go to
no.
work and to return, so you can work.
Another student
This
of
is
mine
true.
in Tel Aviv has to have 2 meetings a day with her company. She never had to do this before. It'd be once a week. Now, twice a day, they have meetings in the morning and in the
With,
evening to see what
with
they're
in
doing.
the camera, yes, with the Zoom, with the
Yes.
yes, 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 yes.
So it's
So
busy,
many.
busy,
Yes.
busy work. All right. So we've talked a little bit about the economics. Um, so I also did ask you guys, let's have a little bit of free discussion to bring some information that you have on this situation.
Oh, by
In
the
your
way,
country.
the money $1,000 the government give away people that is per month.
Oh, you just Googled it. Okay.
I just Googled it.
$1,000 a month.
Mhm.
Good.
A month. Ah,
Yeah, per month.
per month.
Hmm.
Good. Good.
Any other information?
Maybe so.
In Italy, they are 600 euros that you can get by a sort of application, but you have to be to show that you are not working, you are at home. But also, there are people that continues to work without may making bills, etc. And
They're working
and
under the
many
table, and then they're also making the application for this
yes,
funding. It's normal, yeah. People abuse the system. That's why I would advise government to spend more money on ventilators and protective equipment. So
Yes,
that
I can say something about the ventilators. Yes, the ventilators.
yes.
Yes, in Israel, according to the Ministry of Health, there are about 3,000, only 3,000 ventilators.
Mm.
Okay, and they predict that there will be about 10,000 people that will need the ventilators. So it's a very big problem. So now they are doing real efforts. They invest a lot of money. The government invests a lot of money and invest a lot of time in doing big efforts in order to buy and to manufacture another ventilators. I think even the Mossad, the Israeli Mossad, like the CIA,
They go,
yes,
they
the
go.
army, you know.
There is
So
the
they are doing real efforts to bring another ventilator. Yes.
there is a lack of ventilators and testing kits in all the world.
All
And
over the world, yes.
Yes.
and all countries, every country wants to take care for its population. So
There is
it's
some
like
kind
a
of
race,
race, some kind of race.
and the Mossad, like the CIA, got it in very very secret
Ways,
operation.
operations, yes, yes,
Okay, so this is some kind of army or some kind of organized.
yes, yes,
Okay.
like the CIA, like the,
All
you
right.
know,
The
So
Mossad,
they
the
are,
Mossad,
let me just
the,
interpret a little bit. They are very active in procuring or gathering these ventilators and testing kits from
yes,
wherever they can.
from wherever they can, yes,
Wherever they can.
yes.
we don't
Interesting.
know from where, maybe from countries
And you
that
don't
are
want to
not
know.
important. What?
And you don't want to know.
No,
They're just
I'm telling
working,
you.
you know.
I think they buying it for a lot of money, yes,
Yeah,
because
from
if one machine cost before the virus, the cost of one machine was about $10,000. I think you can, if you manufacture this machine, you can sell it for about that to not to double the price,
triple the
to
price,
not to triple to
quadruple the price,
yes,
even more.
Quintuple it.
Okay.
to cover it. I think to cover. Yes.
Um, now, one of the things is all of us were here yesterday, and we talked about our situation in our various countries. But Gabrielle is just joining us today. So, Gabrielle, tell me again your city and, if you can, some information about what's
I'm
going on.
from center of Italy in Tuscany, and
Tuscany.
I'm a city near to Florence.
We've been there, yes, in Toscana and Florence, yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Firenze, Firenze,
Firenze, Florence, yeah, Tuscany.
right.
Yes, very nice.
So I read some newspaper today. There are some positive news because the new cases are lower than yesterday,
Mm.
about 2,000 and 1,500. I don't know if it is. So probably the curve, the growth curve is
The
slowing.
okay. So what he's saying is that the virus is a
Like
possibility.
The,
It's
the, the
peaked.
growth curve of infection is slowing.
Yeah, it's peaked, and now it's
Yeah,
decreasing.
probably.
It's
This is
decreasing.
this is the curve. Yes,
Yeah.
this is what
We are
we
we
don't
are
want to
after the
happen.
top.
Yes,
Probably we are after the top of the car.
yes.
Ah,
This
this
is a
is.
bad curve. If this is go to infinity,
It's a
yes,
bad car, yes.
we know.
Where did
And
you
we want
get this?
to lower the curve. Yes, to
Where did you get those that information from, Yuri? Could you share that with us? Because you were,
this.
yeah, you were telling me in a previous lesson that the infections grow exponentially.
Yes.
Um,
No, what the Ministry of Education says in Israel,
oh,
this is the curve. This is the curve. If this curve goes to infinity, yes, theoretically, if everybody will infect everybody, the infected people will double or triple every day. Yes,
mhm,
this is a bad situation.
Yes.
So what we want to do is to lower the curve. In order to do it like this, yes,
mhm.
to lower the curve. This is E power X. You know this curve. Francesco, or I think you know this, yes? Yes. So we want to lower it. This is yes,
Yeah, lower the curve of the
yes, lower the
coronavirus.
curve. Yeah,
Flatten the curve.
yeah,
flat,
flat
yes,
and
Flatten
yes,
the
yes,
curve of the coronavirus.
yes.
All right. And now I just open it to you guys. You can ask anyone you want a question.
Maybe not about Corona, maybe about food or something. Yes,
Okay.
I think about
Yeah.
something
All
else.
right. This.
But you are the teacher. You are the teacher. You
No,
are the
no,
teacher.
this is good, Yuri. I'm happy to hear you say this because a few weeks ago I was like, when this first started, I was like, oh my God, this is so terrible. And Yuri was like, let's talk about the coronavirus. I was like, Yuri, please, not today. But I flattened my curve, before I was really just getting stressed out, because I think of things globally. I never think of my city, my town. I always have been an internationally minded person. And when I see students in Italy and other countries, really suffering, it affects me. And so I was like, okay, 24 hours, I will not listen to any coronavirus news and I will not discuss it with anyone. And then I
It's
had a
impossible.
lesson with, I know it's impossible. And then I had a lesson with Yuri, and Yuri was like, okay, let's talk about the
Also, I
virus.
asked you to talk about the coronavirus during your 24 hours of
You
purification.
did? Yeah. Well, I'm going to do that 24 hours again this weekend. I'm just trying. It hasn't happened yet. Even if I can try for 1 hour, that would be good. My therapy, if I can find it, is right behind my computer. I have a huge headset and I just listen to music. quite loud music so that I can't even hear my family in the background who loves watching the news updates, which are terrifying. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you do to keep yourself entertained under quarantine, to keep your spirits up under quarantine. And you need to be doing something.
In this quarantine, I'm just cooking.
In Italy, everybody is eating and getting fat.
Drinking limoncello all the time.
Limoncello.
Limoncello, grappa, everything.
Good life. I love Italian food. I like it very much. Right.
Yeah, I recently went to Malfi Coast. It was beautiful.
Mafia Coast.
Mafia?
What's the no, not Mafia. What's the pronunciation, Gabriele? Mafia Coast or
Amalfi,
Amalfi?
Costa Amalfitana.
near Naples.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, it was
The Italy is like
great.
strong. The Italy language is like strong.
It's a very nice.
Pronunciation is really beautiful. To entertain myself nowadays is I run in the morning because
Run?
there is a few people early morning, so I go out and run. And then recently I downloaded some online courses so that I can improve myself.
okay. So
Where,
yes,
where do you run? In the
Uni
Fifth
loves
Avenue?
running, as
In
Yuri
the,
also loves running.
yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did some
really,
marathons and I did the
yeah, I've
Ironman
done 2 half marathons.
half marathon. Yes. So I did the Ironman competition also.
Ooh.
You know? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple, I mean, there are a lot of like that type of marathon. So they have obstacles, right? And you can run and then you just jump like obstacles, right? So yeah, I really want to do that. So actually, I signed up for one marathon like that in July, but I don't know whether I'm able to do that.
The marathon in New York. It's the very famous in New York.
Most famous.
Yeah, but it's really hard to get in.
But now you can't run. You cannot. You can't. Yes, Oliver. You can't.
Can't.
You can't run in the park in your park because you said
In the
yesterday
Central Park, I think
in the
people
Central
run.
Park.
Yeah, yeah. But again, they have to keep like people should know that they have to keep a distance.
No, but because you said yesterday that the Central Park is now some kind of hospital. Yes, a
With
lot of
Yeah,
beds.
but in the middle of the park, not the
ah,
around the park.
yes,
Okay.
it's very nice.
So,
I also ran in the park from the Fifth Avenue to the park. I ran.
Hmm.
Yes, two years ago. Very nice. Yes, we've been in New York.
Let me know if you come to the city, come to New York.
It's very dangerous to come to New York now. We don't know. Maybe later. Yes.
Francesca, you wanted to say
no,
something?
I think we will begin to, or we will restart to travel in
Come
a
to
year, maybe.
Tel Aviv.
And what are you doing? Okay, I know you do only a lot of studying, but are you doing anything for fun, Francesca?
I'm playing piano and guitar, and I'm watching TV series. Yes,
Okay.
but the most of the time I'm finishing my thesis work, and in my free time I usually play piano or guitar or watch TV series. Yes,
Okay.
and I make some call with my friends or my parents, etc.
Zoltan, you are quarantined with 2 kids. I think this ages 12 and 10. How's that going?
Oh,
You want to finish that. You want to finish that.
It's hard. It's hard to say. Yes, we try to play, but I have free time, so we have a startup with my friends, and I have to time work a little bit on the startup.
Okay, he's
So
a
this is
startup
a
business in addition to his regular
a
job.
new opportunity for me.
So it keeps him busy. So what he's done is he's passed the kids on to me and said, "Hey, give them an English lesson."
Yes.
Yeah, so I have them a couple hours every week, and he's also supposed to take one English lesson a week, but he disappears, and I see the kids, and I'm like, oh, okay. So that's a good way to keep them occupied. Gabriele, what do you do to keep yourself entertained under quarantine?
Yeah, just playing with my son.
Oh,
He has 3 years old, so he just want to play with me
oh, okay.
all the time.
Yes.
But I'm in a smart working, so in the morning I work in my room, and in the evening I play with him.
Mm.
How old is he?
It was it
Uh,
4 months.
I,
How old is he? He's 4 months old.
I 3 years old.
3 years.
Three
Oh,
years.
3 years, yeah.
I heard wrong. Toyo. Toyo's wife
Yeah.
is in Japan.
Oh, in Japan. You're talking about me, right?
Yeah, I was saying your wife is still in Japan and she's pregnant. Gabrielle wasn't here yesterday, so he doesn't know.
Oh yeah.
So what do you do to entertain yourself?
Yeah, I sleep as long as because I'm on commute. I can work from home now, so then yeah, I can sleep as long as I want, and sometimes I go running. And because there have been beautiful trails around this area, and I like also cooking. So yeah, today I'm gonna cook curry, and tomorrow is ramen, and I can enjoy cooking. And yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I like this life. I don't have to go to office.
But you definitely have to work because we need your services.
But I can go to grocery store in the middle of the day and for change. So I like it.
Can I tell everyone what your work is, or is it?
Oh yeah, I'm a nuclear engineer, so I work for engineering work for power stations. Actually, I don't work for power station, but they have some programs and then ask us to solve technical problems.
Mm-hmm.
So
And this is another reason that we need to keep social distancing and self-isolating ourselves so that the people who work at the power company can stay healthy and give us internet.
Yes.
Because I think if we have a food crisis, it would be very bad. But if we have an internet crisis, immediately, like,
yeah,
especially the younger
Yeah, yeah.
generation.
And the problem is that the internet infrastructures are near to collapse because everyone is making video conferences, etc. So the structures are near to the collapse. Like WhatsApp servers are near to get down.
But I think Netflix in Europe lowered
The
volume of the
The quality, the quality of videos. So
so it's not enough wide for passing
The bandwidth.
Probably
They lowered the
YouTube
bandwidth.
YouTube too, probably.
yes,
Okay, lowered the
in
bandwidth.
order to reduce the required bandwidth to watch a film, watch a movie, and in order to be able to manage better the internet connection.
Yes.
Yeah, this is another reason I'm not using Zoom. Because if I make it too difficult, you guys will say, I can't get in, teacher, I'm not coming. So, but maybe I'll use it in the future. I also forgot that Yuri and Ofra are quarantined with their kids. How many kids do you have? Yeah, can we meet them? Can we meet them today or?
Yes, yes, Golden. Yes. Now, you
4
have to grade
kids.
them. You have to grade them from the. Everyone has his own room. They all the computer and just at the
Yuri's family is taking up most of the bandwidth at his
yes,
house.
yes, iPad and Netflix and computers and iPhones and you name it, you know.
Maybe Gabriele is terrified about it.
But I have unlimited internet in my building. It's unlimited.
Oh,
It's
unlimited. Okay.
yes, yes.
In the
Just
building.
a well, in Hungary.
And tell us their ages while we're waiting.
Say something, Itai, say something.
Hi. These are the twins.
Oh my gosh.
There are some people from Japan and Italy and Hungary and South Korea. She is from South Korea. No, you see, this is the I'm
One
going
girl who's
to
13 and she's not coming on screen unless she's got her makeup together.
The teenager like the book.
yes, you know the like the book.
Hello, hi, nice to meet you.
Hi
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry to torture you. Well, guys, that leaves us on a good note. Who would like to do this again? Maybe not soon, but in the next few weeks. Who would like to do this video conference again?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, all right.
Everyone? All right. So I'll see what I can organize over the next few weeks. And maybe we can do other topics. Everyone who is present today, I'm doing like an Oprah Winfrey thing, will get a free gift. You get membership, free membership for 3 months to my virtual academy. So you look up ODI Virtual Academy /members, and we can do more video conferencing there. I'm building the infrastructure right now. Um, so I think group classes keep people motivated, and that's what I want to keep you guys doing. So stay motivated. Don't get too lost in your jobs and coronavirus. Yes.
Thank you for creating this space, Odiva.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very helpful and very interesting to meet people all over the world. This is the most
Yeah, definitely.
benefit, I
And,
think.
and it's also good to improve your English because you can communicate with other people and to talk about different and general topics. So I think this helps a lot, your English,
I think I
in
agree.
general, our English, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree too.
That's what I thought. All right, guys. Well, you enjoy
Bye.
the
Thank you.
rest of your
Bye.
day.
Stay
Good
well.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.